Today we are going to start new chapter from unit number 1, and that is chapter number 2, biological classification, in which today we are going to discuss about introduction of this chapter. Before we start the chapter, let me go through the analysis. Here you can see this is the last 10 years from 2009 to 2019 NEET examination analysis is there. So here you can see the list of topics in this chapter, that is a classification system. From classification system you can see 25 questions were asked in last 10 years, and from topic kingdom Monera you can see 87 number of questions were asked. Then kingdom Protista 30 MCQs were asked. Then kingdom Fungi 59 MCQs were asked. Viruses, viroids and lichens, total 42 questions were asked. So you can get the idea from which topic mostly questions were asked. So first of all, let me start with the definition of a biological classification. So chapter name is a biological classification. So first of all, let me define what is a biological classification. So biological classification is the scientific way of orderly arrangement of organisms into groups. Okay, and that is on the basis of their similarities and differences. Okay, so here we have to take two bases, similarities as well as differences in certain easily observable but fundamental characters. This is whole definition about biological classification. So let me repeat, what is a biological classification? So biological classification is the scientific way of orderly arrangement of organisms into groups on the basis of their similarities and differences in certain easily observable but fundamental characters. Okay, and there are three principal systems of classification. Biological classification we can do by using three principal systems. So here you can see the list. First is the artificial system, then natural system and phylogenetic system. These three systems of a classification we will learn one by one. So first of all, let me go through artificial system. So what is the artificial system? This is the classification system which is based on one or a few external morphological characters of organisms. Okay, so it is based on one or few external morphological characters of the organism which may not have any phylogenetic significance. Here phylogenetic analysis not play important role here. Okay, so phylogeneticity have no significance over here. The earliest system of classification were artificial systems. Okay, so this is very old age system of a classification. For example, here we can say Theophrastus in 372 to 87 BC classified plants as a very common thing, that is trees, shrub, undershrubs and herbs. Okay, so Theophrastus has classified plants as trees, shrubs, undershrubs and herbs. Okay, as well as Aristotle classified animals. Theophrastus has classified plants, whereas Aristotle has classified animals. So they had classified, Aristotle had classified animals into two groups, Anema and Anaema. Okay, Anaema and Anaema on the basis of the presence or absence of a red colored blood. So whether blood is present is a red color blood or not, and based on that they have classified animals. Now let me go through Aristotle's classification. So Aristotle was the earliest to attempt a more scientific basis for the classification of organism, especially we can say about the animal. He also classified plants as per the Theophrastus into trees, shrubs and herbs, and animals into two groups, those with the red blood cells and those without the red blood cell. So let me see this. If animals are there, they will be classified into two groups, whether they have red blood cells or not. Okay, so if they have red blood cell, then it is considered as mammals, lizards and birds. Okay, and also fish. And if it is not having any type of red blood cells, then it is considered as two groups. Here you can see soft body and hard bodies. Okay, so if they have hard bodies, then it is considered as insects. Okay, and if they are soft bodies, further they will classify into two, whether they have shell or no. Okay, means presence or absence of a shell. So if shell is present, then it is called shellfish. Okay, if the short body is there, it may be further classified into two groups, whether the presence of a shell is there or not. Okay, if shell is present, they are considered as a shellfish, and if shell is not present, they are considered as a jellyfish. So this is very basic classification done by the Aristotle. After Aristotle and Theophrastus, next scientist was a Linnaeus, and that is called linear system of classification. Okay, and this linear system classification is totally based upon sexual character of an organism, and that's why it is also considered as a sexual system of a classification. That is also considered as the artificial system of a classification. So here you can see one drawback of an artificial system. So what is the drawback of artificial system of classification? So artificial system of a classification often result in placing of an unrelated organism which is not related to each other, okay, in a single group. Okay, that's why sometimes it may cause some confusion. Next system of a classification is a phylogenetic system of a classification, and this system of a classification is based on evolutionary descent of a group organism. So whatever the evolutionary changes occur is on the basis of that only this organism will be classified. In this system, organisms belonging to the same taxa are believed to have common ancestry and may be represented in a family tree, and that family tree, a scientific name for that family tree is called cladogram. Okay, so here very important thing is the common ancestry. So here based on common ancestry, one tree will be formed, and that is called cladogram. And this cladogram, on the basis of this cladogram, this organism will be classified. And such a system of classification is called phylogenetic system of a classification. Next system of a classification is a natural system of a classification, and it is based on the overall morphological and anatomical characteristic. Okay, so natural system of classification is based on overall morphological and anatomical characteristic, and that's why it is much easier. Okay, and also it not creates any kind of confusion, which indicate natural relationship among the organism. Initially it used to overall morphological similarity, but gradually it is only used for the morphological similarity, but finally and gradually it got refined to use anatomy, embryology, ultrastructure, etc. A field of study, but not the evolutionary evidences. So evolutionary evidences are avoided in this type of classification system. Okay, so evolutionary, as you know, now phylogenetic type of a classification system play very important role over there. So evolutionary evidences are avoided in this type of a classification system. So this classification system is totally based on, firstly it was based on morphological similarity, but gradually one by one some character are added, and that is anatomical, embryological, ultrastructure. These all character, based on all these characters, this type of classification will be occur, and that is called natural system of a classification. Now let me go through some system of a classification given by some scientists. So first of all we will discuss about the Linnaeus. Okay, and he had given a two kingdom classification system. So it is proposed by Linnaeus in 1758, and according to this classification, organism can be divided into two groups, two kingdoms, Plantae and Animalia. Okay, so on the earth, whatever are the organism present, whatever the living organism present on the earth can be dividing into two groups, kingdom Plantae and kingdom Animalia, and that's why this is called two kingdom classification. It is given by Linnaeus, and that's why it is also called Linnaeus system of a classification. Two kingdom classification system have some drawbacks. So let me discuss about drawbacks of a two kingdom classification system. So first of all, here you can see prokaryotes include bacteria, cyanobacteria, and eukaryotes include fungi, mosses, fern, gymnosperms, and angiosperms. And you have already learned in chapter number 8 that prokaryotes are totally different from eukaryotes, right? But here what happened, according to two kingdom classification, these both organisms will be included under plants, though they are totally different from each other. So just on the basis of presence of cell wall, but they are widely differed in other features. So this is one kind of we can say drawbacks. It include unicellular as well as multicellular organism in the same group. Even unicellular must have other group and multicellular must have other group. Okay, though both type of organism will be included into same group. Here one example, Chlamydomonas itself is a unicellular organism and Spirogyra is a multicellular organism, though both are included in the algae. Okay, so this is very confusing type of classification system. So it did not differentiate between heterotrophic fungi and autotrophic green plants. Okay, and that's why it is very confusing. Fungi have chitinous cell wall while green plants have cellulosic cell wall. So these all differences we cannot define by using this type of classification system, because this is very common classification in which just two groups are there, plants and animals. As we have discussed in previous slide, that drawbacks are there in two kingdom classification system. Okay, and that's why so many scientists around the world have given so many type of classification system. So let me discuss that other system of classification. Ernest Haeckel in 1866 proposed three kingdom classification system, and he had introduced the third kingdom, and that is Protista, which include unicellular eukaryotes like protozoa and the alga. Previously what happened, unicellular organisms are included into along with the multicellular. Okay, and that's why this is very confusing one. But here somehow you can see Protista, under Protista kingdom include the unicellular eukaryotic cells that include protozoa and the alga. Next system is a four kingdom system of a classification, and it was proposed by Herbert Copeland in 1956. In this classification system, bacteria and microbes were included into kingdom Monera. Okay, so these Monera include prokaryotes. Better we can say Monera is one group of organism which include prokaryotes. Okay, because bacteria and microbes are included into prokaryote. This divided in the living organism into four kingdom. Monera, which include prokaryotes, Protista, which include unicellular organism, Plantae, multicellular, Animalia, multicellular. So this system is a four kingdom system of a classification, and finally widely accepted system of a classification was given by R.H. Whitaker in 1969, and which is called five kingdom classification system without any drawbacks. Okay, and divided into means all the organism divided by these scientists into five kingdoms. So it is namely a Monera, which include prokaryotes, unicellular prokaryotes, then Protista, this is a unicellular eukaryotes, fungi, then Plantae and Animalia. These fungi, Plantae and Animalia, these three groups are included in eukaryotes, which are multicellular eukaryotes. Now let me discuss about five kingdom classification system in detail, which is given by R.H. Whitaker in 1969. Okay, so five kingdom classification system was proposed by R.H. Whitaker in 1969, and it include Monera, Protista, fungi, Plantae and Animalia. Okay, and this classification system is based on, you can see here, so many characteristics, and that's why it do not have any type of confusion. Okay, and that's why it is very accurate classification system, and that's why it is widely acceptable. This classification system is based on cell structure, thallus organization, mode of nutrition, reproduction, and phylogenetic relationship. You should remember these all character because it may be asked in examination. Okay, so organism can be divided into five groups, and that's why it is called five kingdom classification. Okay, so this is kingdom Monera, kingdom Protista, kingdom fungi, kingdom Plantae, and kingdom Animalia. Now let me discuss in detail. So first of all, here you can see the characters in which you can see which is considered. Cell type is considered, then cell wall, nuclear membrane, body organization, mode of nutrition. Okay, so based on these all characteristics, these groups are given. Okay, these kingdoms are given. So this is the first kingdom, that is Monera, Protista, second one. Third one is a fungi, then Plantae and Animalia. So let me discuss one by one. So what is the characteristic of a Monera? The cell type of a Monera group is a prokaryotic cell. So be very clear, this group of a Monera kingdom. Okay, so according to five kingdom classification, Monera kingdom include prokaryotic cell, and be very clear, rest other do not include any type of prokaryotic cell. So be very clear about this. Monera is the only group in five kingdom classification system that include prokaryotic organisms. Rest other are eukaryotic, and you know very well what is a prokaryotic cells and what is a eukaryotic cell. You have already learned in chapter number 8. And second character is a cell wall. Okay, so here Monera group is having a non-cellulosic, means here cell wall is not made up of cellulose, and that's why it is called non-cellulosic cell wall. Polysaccharide plus amino acid, and in precise we can say here cell wall is mostly made up of peptidoglycan layer. Okay, so here cell wall is not made up of cellulose, it is made up of polysaccharide plus amino acids, and in precise and mostly we can say it is made up of peptidoglycan layer. Next, nuclear membrane is absent. It is the definition of a prokaryotic cell, right? So when we called it as a prokaryotic cell, when nuclear membrane is totally absent, that's time we are calling it as a prokaryotic cell. So here the organisms are prokaryotes, that's why they do not have any type of nuclear membrane. Then body organization is a cellular kind of a body organization. Here only one cell will be there, unicellular organism will be there. Here no formation of any tissue, any organ. Okay, so here very basic type of a cell structure is there, and this is a body organization, means that body is only comprised of one cell, means single cell, and that's why it is called unicellular organism. Next characteristic is a mode of nutrition, in which you can say they also found as autotrophic and also heterotrophic. Okay, means they may be a photosynthetic, chemosynthetic, or they may be saprophyte or a parasites. Okay, and next is a protista. Here you can see they are including eukaryotic cells. Okay, cell wall may be present, may be absent, means may be present in the some. And nuclear membrane is, it is a eukaryote, means here from here you can see protista, fungi, plantae, animalia, all are eukaryotes. Okay, so that's why nuclear membrane will be present in all. So these both the points are related to each other. If eukaryotic is there, present. Okay, then prokaryotic is there, absent. Okay, so be very clear about this. Then body organization, here a protista is a eukaryotic group of an organism or a kingdom of an organism in which unicellular organism will be included. So this is the group in which unicellular organism will be included. So out of these five, okay, out of these five kingdom, these two groups are unicellular. Okay, so if you are talking about Monera, this is the unicellular kingdom, but they will include prokaryotes. Okay, or this is the unicellular organism which include eukaryotes. So unicellular prokaryote, that means Monera, and unicellular protist, that means eukaryotes. Okay, rest other will be multicellular. Whether you are calling about fungi, this plantae, or animalia, these all are eukaryotic, multicellular. So this is the only group which having a unicellular eukaryotic organism, and this is also we can say only one in which only unicellular prokaryotic groups are there. Next is a mode of nutrition. So here you can see protista include autotrophic, that means photosynthetic, as well as heterotrophic organisms. Kingdom is a fungi. You can see cell type here is a eukaryotic cells, and cell wall present, and it is made up of chitin and polysaccharides. So this is the major difference between plantae and the fungi. So if you are talking about plantae, at that time a cell wall is made up of cellulose. Okay, and here cell wall is made up of chitin. This is basic difference between plantae and the fungi. Okay, and next is a nuclear membrane. You can see if it is eukaryotic, then in both cases present. Okay, then body organization, here multicellular and loose tissues, and mode of nutrition. Here very importantly notice here heterotrophic nutrition is there. Here autotrophic as well as heterotrophic, autotrophic as well as heterotrophic, but here totally this kingdom include heterotrophic type of nutrition, that means saprophytic and parasitic. The next kingdom is a plantae, which include eukaryotic cells. In the here also cell wall is present, and that is made up of cellulose. The nuclear membrane is also present, and body organization here is made up of tissues and organs. And very important here to notice, it is a mode of nutrition is autotrophic. So if you are comparing between fungi and plantae, there's two major differences there. Okay, in case of a cell wall and mode of a nutrition. So cell wall here in case of a fungi is made up of chitin, whereas in case of a plantae it is made up of cellulose. Okay, and in case of a fungi, mode of nutrition is a heterotrophic, totally heterotrophic, whereas a plantae is a autotrophic. This is the two basic difference in between fungi kingdom and plantae kingdom. Next kingdom is the animalia. in which you can see eukaryotic cells are there. Means cell type is a eukaryotic, cell wall is a totally absent. Okay, this is the group in which cell wall is a totally absent. And then you can understand this is the eukaryotic cells and that's why present, means nuclear membrane is totally present. And next, body organization is this type of a kingdom, is a tissue, organ and organ system level. Okay, and mode of nutrition here is a totally heterotrophic, that is a holozoic and saprophytic. Okay, we will learn in detail in chapter number 4. In Plantae, we will learn in detail in chapter number 3. Okay, and in this chapter, in chapter number 2, we will learn about Monera, Protista and fungi. So this is your homework for today's lecture, and before we finish this lecture, let me summarize whole topic by using one animation video. So look at this video.
The attempts to classify living organisms began centuries ago. The first classifications were made to identify organisms that were useful to man for food, shelter, and clothing. It was Aristotle who devised the first scientific method of classification. Based on morphological characters, he classified plants into trees, shrubs, and herbs, and animals into two groups, those that had red blood and those that didn't. Later, Carl Linnaeus came up with the two-kingdom system of classification, Kingdom Plantae, that included all the plants, and Kingdom Animalia, that included all the animals. This classification system was reasonable for that time, because it was easy to distinguish between immobile plants and mobile animals. However, this system did not distinguish between unicellular and multicellular organisms, prokaryotes and eukaryotes, and photosynthetic and non-photosynthetic organisms. There were also a large number of living organisms that did not fall into any category under this system. New studies about various organisms also revealed enormous variations of characteristics within the organisms of the same group, like cell structure, mode of nutrition, methods of reproduction, and evolutionary relationships. Therefore, though the two-kingdom classification system was used for a long time, it proved to be an inadequate system recently. In 1969, R.H. Whittaker proposed a five-kingdom classification system where three more kingdoms, Monera, Protista, and fungi, were added to the existing kingdoms of Plantae and Animalia. The main criteria that Whittaker used for this classification system were cell structure, thallus organization, mode of nutrition, methods of reproduction, and phylogenetic relationships. Phylogenetics is the study of evolutionary relatedness among various groups of organisms. The earlier classification systems included all bacteria, algae, fungi, mosses, ferns, gymnosperms, and angiosperms under the plants category, based on the common premise that each one had a cell wall in their cells. The five-kingdom classification remedied this by placing organisms in different kingdoms based on the differences in their characteristics. Based on the differences in cell wall composition, heterotrophic fungi differ from autotrophic plants and were grouped under Kingdom Fungi. All prokaryotic organisms were grouped together under Kingdom Monera, and unicellular eukaryotic organisms were placed in Kingdom Protista. Previously, unicellular Chlamydomonas and multicellular Spirogyra were placed together under algae in Kingdom Plantae. However, in the new classification system, Chlamydomonas moved to Kingdom Protista, while Spirogyra remained in Kingdom Plantae. The five-kingdom classification system not only classified organisms into different groups, but also put together organisms that were earlier placed in different kingdoms. For example, Kingdom Protista brought together both Chlamydomonas and Chlorella with other eukaryotes like amoeba and paramecium, which were initially placed in Kingdom Animalia. Therefore, the five-kingdom classification system was evolved with an advancement in our understanding of the characteristics of organisms and their phylogenetic relationships. Depending on more such discoveries, the classification system may further need to be evolved in future.
In next lecture, we will learn about Kingdom Monera. So till that, goodbye.